Concept Mapping 101. I'm going to teach you today how to put a concept map together. Concept maps are taking the place of traditional care plans in a lot of educational settings. Today's concept map will be very simple because we are doing this for first-year nursing students that have never had any knowledge whatsoever of a care plan or of a concept map and have no knowledge coming in. So just remember that as I do this, because it's going to seem really simple to you, but if you can remember back to the first day you were ever in nursing school and the teacher walked in, then maybe you'll get some feel of why this has to be as simple as it is. Okay? I'm going to give you our patient first. Okay? We have a patient that has arrived. He is a 47-year-old African-American male. He is a high school principal. He is divorced with 2 children, a 16-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter that's going to college. He's a smoker of a half a pack a day. He is obese, and his blood pressure at the present time is 184/94. Now, in just a second, I'm going to walk over and lead you through a concept map. The concept map is already put together pretty much because of time constraints to this video. But I want to show you what it's like to be in this classroom that I spend every day in with my students. So I'm going to show you how we start. This is our concept map, and I have posted one on our site so you could print one off and have it there with you to go through, so you can kind of follow me as the map. Well, of course, a map is going to take you from here to there. So let's start from where we are, which is with our hypertension is the problem, okay? The reason I did this in red is a lot of times in our classes, if it's at all possible, I try to do the writing in the color of the system that it relates to. In this case, the cardiac system, circulatory system, I try to do it in red. If it was respiratory, I try to do it in blue. But today, that's why it's done in red. So we have the problem of hypertension, okay? Well, let's see what our risk factors were for this man to come into us today. He is a male. We all know that that's a higher incidence of high blood pressure. African American increases his risks. He has high stress in both job and family. He's a smoker. He's obese. In his job as a principal, it's a sedentary lifestyle. And he doesn't have a lot of time for exercise or anything, so that's just adding to it. Okay? So that's our risk factors leading to this problem. This is why the arrows are there. Also, in his diet, he's going to need to decrease his sodium, and I put salt because they're still learning what these terms mean. The sodium intake, the fatty foods, and we're going to try to refer him to a dietitian if he will go. Now, what we're going to do next is decide what can we do for him while he's here. Well, of course, we're going to monitor the blood pressure and try to get it down while he's here. But whether they'll put him on any medications right away, we don't know. If they were going to, it would be an antihypertensive of some sort or a diuretic. We don't go into that at this point with them because they've not had pharmacology as part of this yet to do this. We'll go into that more as they go into the pharmacology lab. But that's why it's not on this concept map. But it certainly could be for somebody you're teaching. So let's move over here to our interventions. We're going to try to teach him, this is all pretty much patient education, but we're going to tell him the importance of activity and exercise management, give him some ideas, have some ideas ready for him, don't expect him to come up with them on his own. We're also going to tell him to monitor his blood pressure, hopefully 3 times a week, and you'll see that in the evaluation in a minute. And then try to modify what risk factors he can. Obviously, we're teaching our students what an unmodifiable risk factor is, which is his gender, he can't do anything about. His race, he can't do anything about. But he can do something maybe about decreasing his stress, and do the smoking, and he can try to lose some weight to help with that. Now, along with this, we have our nursing diagnosis. I only did one because that's what we start them out with. It's a NANDA diagnosis, of course, but we want to teach them very, very basic at this point. He definitely has a knowledge deficit related to the procedure for blood pressure monitoring, as evidenced by inability to perform a return demonstration of using an electronic BP cuff, which is up here under patient education monitoring blood pressure. We would try to teach him that so he could get one and take it home and do it himself, either there or at work. We would try to, if he didn't have one, we also teach our students to do some referrals, as trying to get them some help getting their equipment and stuff when they go home, so that they just don't go home with nothing. Okay, so that's your nursing diagnosis, some interventions, very basic, about what we can do about hypertension. And actually, even on this, you could draw arrows to any of this, really, because this is the center point of everything on this map. And this is what we're trying to deal with here, okay? Lots of concept maps are a whole lot more intel than this one is. You'll see all kinds. You'll see some that are just huge, and that's fine. But for our purposes, and for my purposes here with first-year nursing students, this is just what we need to start them out with. So let's go over, we teach them the domains of nursing. Cognitive. What kind of ability does this patient have to comprehend the teaching that we want to give him? His affect. Is he willing to learn? And then psychomotor, can he demonstrate to us how to check his own blood pressure? Okay? If we're going to put somebody to work, we're going to have to give them the tools to do it with. So that's what that's about. And then in evaluation, we get him to do a return demo using an electronic blood pressure cuff. We teach him to keep a log of blood pressures 3 times a week, hopefully. And ask him to answer some questions that we make them up, related to his diet, exercise, and decreasing the risk factors that he can. That is our nursing care plan for a very basic one for our Concept Mapping 101. I hope that this has enlightened you a little bit to what I do in my world every day. And I hope maybe it took you back to the days of being a first-year nursing student too. Because if I'd had somebody explain something like this to me, I wouldn't have had the terror of care plans that I did. So I hope this has helped you. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. And I appreciate you, and good luck to all of you. Thanks. See ya.